Welcome to Malifaux University. 301. Encounter size and terrain. Now that you know the basic rules of the game, it's time to start playing. The first steps in starting a game are determining the size of the encounter and establishing the playing area. When it comes to the size of the game, you can play as large or as small a game as you and your opponent want, as long as you both agree. By size of the game, of course, we're referring to how many soulstones you have to start with to hire your crew. The standard size of a game is 50 soulstones, but when you're just starting out, you may not have that many models ready to play. Most core and starter boxes come with 20 to 25 soulstones worth of models, which makes for a great small game. If you build your crew in the Malifaux app, it will limit you to 60 soulstones. If you're feeling crazy and want to play a game larger than that, you'll have to go old school with paper and cards. We'll discuss the particulars of hiring a crew in a later video. Right now, just figure out how large a game you both want to play. The next step is placing and defining terrain. The playing area is always 3 feet by 3 feet, so that part's easy. Roughly a third of the playing area should be occupied by some type of terrain. So take all the terrain you have, even if it's stacks of books, cups, and CDs, and push it all to one side of the playing area. If it all fills up about a foot-wide space, you're good. You and your opponent should distribute the terrain as evenly as possible across the entire board. Try not to create inaccessible areas of the playing area by crowding buildings or walls in one section, especially the center of the playing area. Several schemes involve reaching corners of the board, so you should avoid blocking those with terrain as well. At the same time, you should avoid leaving long alleys for snipers to dominate. Well, maybe leave one for fun. The most important part of this phase is communication. You and your opponent need to talk clearly about what you both think the terrain is and does. It absolutely ruins a game if you play a couple of turns thinking you are protected behind a piece of terrain that your opponent thinks he can shoot you through, and then you have an argument instead of a friendly game. Talk about it now, before the models are even on the table. In your first few games, keep it simple. The focus should be on learning to use your models, not all the rules surrounding terrain. Don't go inside any building so you don't have to worry about rules concerning walls and windows. Talk about how tall the walls are and whether you can see through the fences or not. How big a model can fit through that gate? Is that severe terrain that slows down movement, or hazardous terrain that causes damage to models? Is it both? We'll discuss all the ways terrain features can change the game, but the simpler you make it at first, the better. That's the overview of encounter size and terrain. Pick up a printable set of all the markers and tokens you need to play Malifaux in the Wargames Vault. If you haven't already, join our Patreon for early, ad-free access to all new content, and be sure to visit the Malifaux University gift shop for the latest in Malifaux-themed shirts, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Links are in the notes below. And remember, play friendly games, keep it simple, and have fun.